So, greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking, and I am Dale Barcy. And as always, if you like what you see and hear, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. And today, I have the very great pleasure of welcoming Natacha Campbell out of Connecticut, USA. Natasha is a healthcare professional. She's a registered nurse with over 10 years' experience across clinical operations and leadership. And she says that her work centers on bridging patient care with operational efficiency, strengthening interdisciplinary collaboration, and fostering environments that prioritize patient safety as well as staff well-being and equitable leadership. She's deeply passionate. She is passionate
Yes.
about advocacy, nurse wellness, and building sustainable healthcare systems that support both patients and the professionals who take care of them. So, welcome, Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dale. I am so humble to even be on your platform. Thank you so much for highlighting professionals like myself. I can't believe it.
This is why we're nurses. We're here to, to highlight. There's so much to highlight about nurses and nursing that, it is my privilege and my pleasure to have people on to speak about what nursing is, what it brings to the table, and all of that kind of thing. So thank you, Natasha.
Well, thank you.
All right. So first of all, what brought you into nursing? What inspired you?
You know, Dale, a funny story. I wanted to be a doctor since I was 8 years old. You know, I am a first generation college student. My father was um we were came from, immigrated from Haiti. So I'm a
Hmm.
Haitian descent, born and bred, pure breed Haitian. Came here when I was very young. And medicine has always been a passion. So since I was 8 years old, I actually wanted to become a doctor. And what really pushed me into healthcare is, I really like helping people. So as a first generation immigrant, I learned English here in America. And I remember as a child, um, going to my parents' medical appointments and translating for them.
Yes,
So
yes.
sitting at the doctor's office as early as 8 years old and translating my parents' medical records. And me, I'm 8. I have no idea what they're talking about, but I'm the English speaking child. I'm there at the
Yeah.
appointment. And I remember at one appointment, I kept asking the doctor all these questions. And the doctor looked at my dad and said, she needs to become a doctor. And ever since then, I've always had a passion for healthcare. I love helping people. I am a giver at heart. And what really pushed me into nursing is, you know, in 2021, I lost my mother. I lost my mother in the most tragic, tragic way. My mother had died from congested heart failure. My mother was a diabetic, uncontrolled diabetic. Haitian. She ate what she wanted. She tried to control it, but still, she definitely could have
Hmm.
did better. But and not in a million years, Dale, I would have thought she would have died of congested heart failure. And I remember that night so specifically because I'm the one that did CPR on my mother. I remember her coughing. I remember all the signs and symptoms that I really didn't recognize because I'm not a nurse. By then, I've already been in healthcare operations. I'm leading. I'm on the other side of healthcare at this point, right? I'm leading teams, managing teams, but I was not a bedside nurse at that
Uh-huh.
time. And my mother passed away very tragically. I remember her doing CPR on her, taking her last breath. And that final moment, Dale, really still lives with me. I think about, if I was a nurse, maybe I could have recognized the signs sooner. If I was a nurse, maybe I would have performed CPR better. Um,
Mhm.
and that's one thing that really does live with me. And that's what really pushed me to really finish my nursing degree. At that point, in the corporate space, I'm doing well in corporate. And, you know, yeah, even though I was in healthcare, nursing, bedside nursing kind of was not at the
Yeah.
forefront of my life. I've already had my children. I'm married, a wife, all those things. I have businesses. So that's what really pushed me to go ahead and finish my nursing degree. So that's what really pushed me to finish it, Dale, is the passing of my dear mother, who was um glue. She was a glue to the family. She really was.
Mm-hmm.
My mother,
Mm-hmm.
holidays get harder every year. Mother's Day is hard. Her birthday is coming up the 15th. And my mother, she's the one that helped raise my son. She's very
Mm-hmm.
traditional mother. She was a stay-at-home wife for a very long time, and she watched all the grandkids, and she was the one that really helped build that community within the family. So the passing of my mother was very, very hard. And yeah, I wish I knew more. So going back to school and just really finishing my nursing degree was something I said I really want to be that person that I possibly could. Maybe I could have saved my
Yeah.
mother. And even though the ER doctor said no, there's nothing you could have done, even if you were a
Yeah.
doctor yourself. But it's that guilt that lives with you, unfortunately. And I think about that every day. And in just finishing my nursing degree, I am the first and only nurse in my entire generation. I don't have any other nurses.
Yeah.
And when we talk about being the first of many, first to have a child, the first to purchase a home, um, no one talks about that burden of being the
Yeah.
first, but I am the
Being
first nurse in my
first.
entire family. So I'm very proud to represent the very
Yeah.
small percentage, not just in my family, but the very small percentage out there of Black nurses, Haitian descent
Station.
Black nurses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm very proud of. I'm so happy I was able to accomplish that, and I really hope to really take my nursing degree in places that I couldn't even imagine. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
That's-
Yep. Your cap. Yep. Yep. I could that's a big thing right there. We'll come to that. But here's what's I'm thinking now. You came to this. First of all, you were in healthcare. And you were
yeah,
on the other side, you were in leadership position in healthcare.
yeah,
And then you come to this kind of in a tragic way as well.
yeah.
So what challenged you then?
What challenged me is when you're going for healthcare operations and you're the manager and you're managing
Hmm.
teams, I think that transition of your mind, right? The things that you think you really don't know. Yes, I've had experience in healthcare in regards to, I started very humble beginnings. My high school had a CNA program, right? I did CNA straight out of high school. So I have that experience. But being going from healthcare operations into nursing, I really had to change my mind on how I think and how I process things. The things that I'm seeing in operations, right? How I'm leading is completely different what's really happening by the bedside. So it was a little difficult transition in balancing, and then also just balancing life, right? I have two kids. I have a husband, and at the time I was
Yes.
still working in operations in the beginning of nursing school. Eventually, I kind of just had to say, I can't balance these two
Something's
things
got
and
to
left
give.
and left operations to really focus on my nursing degree. But it was challenging transitioning that mindset, just thinking that things that you really don't, and it humbles you too, right?
Hmm.
So nursing school really humbles people because you think it's very competitive to get in the program, right? So you're competing A's and B's, and when you get into the nursing program and you're taking these exams and you kind of change your mind for more critical thinking, it humbles you to think that maybe I don't know as much as I think I know. So I think nursing school, I think it was just hard in regards to just staying organized. And I am a type A person, so I did very well with staying organized, being on top of my work. For me, it's just balancing all the things all the outside noise, right? Family, kids, sports, all that stuff that comes into it. But I enjoyed my nursing school. I had a great nursing program, amazing clinical instructors, a great professors. It's a great program, and I would recommend the program to anyone, to be very honest with you. But yeah, I think that was the major challenge for me is just kind of changing my mind from the operational end, right? Thinking you know things, right? I've hired nurses, I've trained nurses, I've onboarded surgeons. These are the teams that I'm leading. Now I'm the student, right? I am the student. So knowing to humble yourself, right? It's a humbling experience. So
Not only you're a student, but you're a student in an industry that you thought you knew.
yes, absolutely. You think you know until you don't. So, and that's the beautiful thing about nursing. You're constantly learning. Every single day, I'm learning something new, whether it's from other nurses, your content, Dale, your content is phenomenal, So I'm constantly learning amazing things from everyone. So,
Yeah, you actually have no choice but to learn.
yes.
It's if you're not going to learn, you're just not going to survive in this
A
thing. That's all
forever
that you can.
student. I call myself a forever student.
we talk about managing well and creating spaces that nurture both the patient and the caregiver. So for you, what does a good day look like as a manager?
A good day for me is a good day for me. I like a very happy staff. I like my staff to be very happy. I think one thing I really loved about my journey into leadership is that I have a very non-traditional route. I worked my way into leadership. And because
Mhm.
I've done all the work, right? I've been the medical assistant, I've been the PSC, I've been the surgical, I've been the so because I come with all that experience, I'm able to really relate with my team and understand what mentorship looks like. You know, the part that I really enjoy about leadership, Dale, is the mentorship. Being able to
Uh-huh.
work with your team and mentor your staff, right? I have staff that want to go to nursing school. How can I, the manager, support that? How can I
Mm.
give the resources to win? You know, so my thing, a good day for me is staff being able to come to me. I had an open door policy, right? You come to me, being able to kind of express their feelings, their concerns, and same thing with my providers, my surgeons. So a good day to me is pouring into others more than I poured into myself for that day. You know, you can't pour a half empty
Yeah.
cup, but I really love. I am a giver at heart. I am I am all types of leadership, but I am definitely that leader that will do the work with you. Like I will sit at the front and do the check in and check out. I will room the patient if I have to.
Mhm.
I am one of
Mhm.
those leaders. And I like seeing my staff happy, seeing that they have leaders and managers that they can go to, they can speak to. To me, that's always a good day. It's always a good day
Yeah.
when my staff
Yeah.
comes in my office, even if it's the vent. You know what that means? They feel comfortable enough to be able to come to me with their concerns. And whether, you know, I can change it or implement something that can kind of ease it, it makes a big difference. You know, these are all people, and sometimes we
Yeah.
just got to meet people where they're
We're
at.
there.
And I think
Hmm.
that's very important. So I always wanted to become the leader that I truly never had. I've never really felt like I've had a manager that looked exactly like me, number one, that
Hmm.
looked like
Yeah.
me, that I can go to, express my concerns, my dreams, and my goals, and they actually want to pour into me. You know, that's one thing. I definitely, when getting into leadership, I said I want to be that manager that pours into their staff. I want to see people win. You know, winners want to see others win, and that's an important conversation that we need to have across the board for most managers. One
Mostly.
thing to manage,
Yes.
but it's one thing to really truly lead with your heart and your passion, and really care for those you're leading. You know.
Yes, yeah, and I think and you answered the question that I wanted to ask, and I don't think that I actually asked properly. And so, because I think what I was getting at was
Yeah.
because you have come through all of you talked about being the PCT and the medical assistant and whatever, and I thought I was asking that gave you the opportunity to hear, to listen, and to hear even when the words were not the words that to hear actually what was being said. Yes. And
Yeah.
so more power to you. More power to you with that. More power to you with that. But let me ask you. So now, what aspects of nursing do you think you'd like to see change?
Many aspects, but I think the aspect of nursing is besides the burnout, I would love to see more nursing and leadership. That's the aspect of nursing I would love to see. I would love to see a bigger conversation on getting more nurses at the table to help move some of the decisions that are being made.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would love to see more of nurse, those big courageous conversations of nursing being at the table more. Um, Not only do nurses have the bedside experience, right? They have the patient experience. They have all the insight. Can you imagine all that knowledge and that skill at the tables helping making and implementing a lot of these changes that we need in healthcare? You know, the burnout, nurse wellness is so dear to my heart. Understanding that meeting people where they're at, understanding that these people are everyone needs grace, It's only so much, especially if you're working in critical care, there's only so much death you can see, so much pain you can see as a nurse. You have to remember these people are people as well. How do we pour into them? How do we go ahead and
Yes.
fuel them? That compassion fatigue, it's a real thing
It's
for
a
these
thing.
nurses. It's a real thing. They get burnt out there, unfortunately. But one thing I would say I would love to see more of is conversations about nurse leadership, really bringing nurses to the forefront and leading at a lot of these tables and making some of these decisions in healthcare. I think it's needed. I do. I
It
think
is
it's
needed.
needed. It's
It is
needed.
needed.
So
Yeah.
that's something
Yeah.
I'm passionate about, something I want to truly grow into is nurse leadership. But yeah, that's one thing I would say.
So now that we're talking about that, one of the things you talk about is diversity in leadership
Yes.
as well. So what does meaningful diversity really look like practically?
Meaningful diversity, not only people that look like me, different backgrounds, cultures, and it not no one ever talks about the way leadership non-traditional routes. Some of the best leaders are the ones that rose to very non-traditional, the people that actually done a lot of the work that the teams that they're leading, they've done surgical scheduling, they've been MAs. Those are some of the great leaders I see
Yes.
too. And when we talk about diversity, we're not just talking about skin color, ethnicity, race, but I'm talking about education levels, right?
Yes.
Seeing leadership in different educational levels. Not everybody has an MBA, right? But does that mean they cannot lead? How do we mentor? How do we train people into leadership, right? Most managers, there's no guide into leadership,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, you're
That's a big
promoted into
one.
a manager, and that's it. You don't have like a guidebook, how to teach, how to mentor, how to lead a team, how to be a compassionate leader, how to lead with empathy. You don't have that guide, so you're put into a position. There's no real. Sometimes there's really no structure in these
There's no
positions. You're just
structure.
promoted.
Yeah.
So conversations like that are important too. So when I think about diversity, equity, inclusion, I think about it as a whole, not just race but education, background, just
Yeah.
experience, right?
Just
So
yeah, yeah. What your lived experiences tell you. Yeah.
yeah,
So that one was just such a big one because really, as you talk about people being in leadership, and very often, as you said, it's just by virtue of longevity. You've been here 10 years, you've been here 15 years, you're it.
yeah,
It's like time you're it.
yeah.
Just work. First of all, many people don't even want to be, and you have to be like, who wants to be? For whom this is a desire, for whom this is something that
Mhm.
we can develop otherwise. But anyway. What
Absolutely.
advice though? So you again, you're in such a unique position, Natasha. There's so many questions I want to ask you.
Really? I'm a unique person? Oh goodness.
Yes, you are. You come to nursing in such. I mean, you have the baseline knowledge. You have the operational knowledge. You come from it in so many different directions that that there are so many things that I could ask you. You're like a weather vane. But anyway, what advice do you think you'd give to someone now then, having all of this experience? What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a nurse?
I think the advice I would say would go for it. Nursing is one of the few professions that I always say you get bang for your buck. Nursing, you can do so much with nursing, so much with nursing. So that's the first thing I'm gonna say is go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
And lead with compassion. I know it's such a word that we use a lot. Oh, nurses are compassionate, like not just compassion for patients and families, but also compassion for yourself. Wellness for yourself is important. Understand your boundaries, your limits. If you want longevity in this field, you have to understand how to pour into yourself. It's too sad when you see, new grads, especially in operations. I'm hiring new grads 2 years in, and they're already looking to get away from the bedside.
Anyway.
How can
Hmm.
we change that? It's because, straight out of nursing school, you're already graduating from nursing school. It's already a high stress environment. You've been broke the whole time, right? So of course you pass your NCLEX, you're trying to work right away. You've had no time to really decompress, right? You have no time to really learn how to manage your stress, how to manage patient loads, all that stuff. So I would say, please pour into yourself more than you you're pouring into others. A nurse that is well is a nurse that gives well, compassionate care. Be compassionate for yourself. Give yourself grace. That's one thing I would give young adults. Give yourself grace. It's okay not to know everything. It's okay to feel not your best today. But if you pour into yourself and you take care of yourself more than than you're taught to in nursing schools, right? You can have longevity in this field. Burnout is a real thing, and we're seeing it every day with new grads. So that's one advice I would give to new grads is definitely pouring into themselves, taking care of themselves. And I think it sounds so cliche, but it's harder said than done for most people. It's hard to
It
take care of
is.
themselves. It's hard to pour into themselves, Dale. And I wish, once again, I wish they kind of implemented that more in nursing school, nurse wellness, right?
Yes.
Starting that in nursing school and
Yes.
transition that into practice, because a lot of these nurses leave already high stress, financially, they're stressed because they have to put themselves through school. They're,
Mm-hmm.
so they're just jumping right into work, no time to really decompress and take time for themselves. And they're in the high, stressful residency program. They're on the floor. So it's a lot going on. I just, and that leads to, some of the burnout that we're seeing very, very early on. I have friends that are new grads 1 year in, and they're already looking to
Yeah.
leave the bedside, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 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 Sometimes, I have to say, sometimes people don't even, you tell people to take time for themselves and all of that, but
Hmm.
sometimes, very often, people get to a place where they don't even know how to do that.
They don't. And I wish, like I said, I wish it was something that was taught in nursing schools and people are brave enough to speak up and say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel well. I don't feel like myself. I don't, how can you don't, nurses don't have that space. It's kind of go, go, go. You're on these 12-hour shifts. You hear
Yeah.
nurses not using the bathroom for 12 hours. How is that wellness?
Yes.
How?
And we haven't even thought of just the basic thought of, I would not accept this for my patient.
Yes,
How am I accepting it for me?
for
That
myself.
basic thought doesn't even occur to us.
Oh, Dale, you hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. Oh my goodness, that is such a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We wouldn't do it to our patients. Why do we accept that type of abuse? And but that's one thing I would say. Nursing is such a great field that you can do so much with. Explore it. It's okay not to like something. It's okay to go into one specialty thinking
Yeah.
you love it. And it's okay to leave. It's
Yeah.
okay to leave. Sometimes I feel nurses are guilt tripped, right, to stay by the bedside. What do you mean you don't
Oh,
want
we
to be
do
a
that a
bedside
lot.
nurse? Oh, what do you
That's a
mean
big
you want to
thing.
be by the bedside? You have to put that scarlet A on your chest when you say you don't want to do bedside nursing. And you have to teach these students and just nurse. It's okay. It's okay. If you tried something and it doesn't work or you're not passionate about it, it's okay. That's the beauty of nursing. You can
That's
do
it.
anything with it.
Anything,
So,
anything, anything. If you can imagine it,
yes.
you can do it with this nursing license, and it doesn't matter what it is.
I tell people that all the time. I can't wait till you start like pushing more of your Beyond the Bedside series stuff and kind of what nurses can do out so people can really truly see
See,
what are the possibilities. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I read something that you wrote. You said people don't resist change; they resist feeling excluded.
Yes.
And I had to read that about 2 or 3 times because
I posted that.
I had to read that about 2 or 3 times, Natasha, because um it's people resist feeling excluded. And it resonated, but it had to drip down. It had to actually
Hmm.
drip down because when I saw it, I said, yes, that's it. And yes, when I read it again, it was like, yes, that's it. And then I read it, and yes, 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 that's it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what I want to know, and I know this comes out of your leadership experience, but how did you come to that? Because to me, that is such a profound statement. That's so true. We don't even think about it.
So when I think about change, being in operations, when there is major change, whether it's system changes or just department changes, the only time I've ever had resistance is when people don't feel like they are part of that conversation. So whenever we're implementing something new in my department at the time, or just system wide, something, I try to bring those key players to the table. So if we're making a change to the nursing schedule, of course, we're going to have a monthly meeting. We're going to have a meeting with the nursing team. We're going to bring them to the table. So people, and by doing that, Dale, people are less likely to resist change. It's not that they don't like change. Sometimes they've just been doing the same thing because, hey, it worked. We're not going to change it. Not that it doesn't need to be changed. It needs a lot of these policies, procedures maybe do need to get changed or tweaked or something. But most people are resistant to it because they're not a part of the conversations, saying,
Yes.
and this implements in every part of healthcare, not just nursing, right? So, like I said, when I was making changes in the department, whether it's a small change or a very large change, it's important to bring the key players, the people that's affecting, to the table to have those conversations. So, and most, like I said, people don't really resist changing. They really resist not being brought to the table, being a part of those conversations to help move that change along. You see the difference when you can implement a new policy in the office, and
Mhm.
I can say thank you so much for giving me that
What you
feedback from my
mhm,
team. Thank you for
mhm.
giving that input. Thank you for your feedback on that. And because I brought the everyone to the table that is affecting and having those conversations and getting true feedback, that's the people that's actually doing the work. People are less resistant to saying, no, I don't want to do it because they were a part of that change. They were implemented. It's more meaningful to them, right? You care
Mhm.
about it more because not only it wasn't a process just given to you. You helped develop this process. You helped grow and nurture this process in this change. So that's where that statement comes from. It's really just my experiencing leading teams, making major changes. And when you're working for very large healthcare industries, institutes, there's a lot of changes happen. Whether it's Epic, there's a new upgrade. There's this, we no longer can do that. They discontinued something. Now we're changing this process. There's a lot of changes. And I've always been one of those leaders that I don't like to make decisions on my own. I like to bring my team to the table. I like to hear their input. Like, hey, this is the change that's happening. I just want to hear, what do you guys think
What
about
do you
this?
think?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? What can we do? How can we implement it here for it can work here in this department? Those are conversations that I enjoyed having with my team, and that's part of the mentorship that I do. I love that part of leadership. That's why I really want to one of my passions to get into leadership is mentorship, mentoring someone, helping someone grow, reach their goals, their aspirations, right? So yeah, that's where that quote comes from. It's just my experience with just implementing different changes and bringing those people bring those conversations to the people that it's affecting, right? Having everyone input in it. So that's funny. That statement kind of stuck out to you now.
So in our conversation, Natasha, you have mentioned mentorship so many times. And so now I want to know, I think, a couple of questions I think I have about that. How can I condense this down into one question?
One good question. Yeah.
Please give me, okay, one, if you could tell me what you would think of, if you were looking for a mentor,
Yeah.
what would be one particular quality you would need to see in that person?
Well, that's a hard one. I gotta think about that one. What quality? A quality in a mentor that I would like to see. I like to see other people clap for others.
Okay.
That's one thing. I would want to see a mentor that really cheers people on without feeling threatened. That's how I
Mhm.
pick my leadership. That's how I pick my mentors. People that really cheer you on and want to see you win. I have one of my favorite quotes is winners love to see other people win.
Mhm.
And that's a big piece of um how do I become a good mentor, right? Is I like to see other people win. I give everyone the resources to win. And that's what I did with my team in management. That's what I did in nursing school when I was with my peers and studying. I always want to give resources for people to win because there's enough for everyone.
Is
So one
enough.
quality, I'm sorry.
No, I said yes, that's enough.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah. One quality would be definitely I like mentors that are givers, true givers, selfless givers, like to give true knowledge without, you know, feeling threatened that,
Yeah,
that one day I'm gonna take your role or something like that, some silly notion like that. But
yeah.
I look for qualities like that. People that really want to give knowledge and resources, want to see you truly, truly win without feeling threatened, without
Yes.
feeling small, making them, making you feel small of themselves because
Yeah.
you're giving them a platform. Too often you do see that, unfortunately. You see people,
Yes.
they want to see you win, but they don't want to see you doing better than them,
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
like to kind of see that in a mentor, and that's the type of mentor I've always tried to be, someone that really truly cheers people on. Your accomplishments does not diminish mine.
Don't at all. At all. At
Oh,
all. At all. At
that's
all.
all. So that's why your lane is your lane. Your purpose is truly your
Your
purpose. Um,
purpose.
so that's how I look at things. So that's why I've always been a giver. I've been a giver of information, a giver of resources, because there's enough for everyone to win. There's never a reason to gatekeep or keep things. But I look for mentors that are truly just people that truly are compassionate about seeing other people win, really seeing
Yes.
other pouring into people,
Yes. Yes.
and pouring into them in the right way, right? Meeting people where they're at, right? Not everyone being grace, giving people grace. I'm a big believer in just giving grace to people. I've been through so much in the last year with my daughter being sick and you know, even with that, being on the other side, once again, being on the other side of healthcare, being the
Yes.
parent in the
Mm-hmm.
hospital.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for me? Having my background in healthcare, and it gives you a different type of perspective and compassion for what you're doing in nursing and how much it truly means to the families. When you are with a nurse that is so caring and kind and taking care of your loved one, it really makes you be like, I want to be that nurse. I want to be that person that, I can say 6 months from, I remember this one nurse that really took care of her and made sure she got this. Like, I've always wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
that person, that memorable nurse, but that's what type of mentor. I kind of digress. I'm sorry. That's the type of mentor I'm looking. Someone that truly pours into you,
Into you.
selflessly, and want to truly see you win. So,
Mhm, mhm. So I have one last question, and it's a question I ask everyone. What does self-care mean to you? And what do you do to take care of you?
oh, I think I can definitely do better at self care. But
We
self
all
care
do.
is I like to do things. I tell people I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I am all these titles. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. But first, I'm me. Who was I before all of these titles? I love fashion. I have a passion for fashion. Uh, so I always pour into myself by doing things that I really do love. I love fashion design. Me and my sister designed clothing, prom dresses. These are things that are close to my heart. I love giving back, volunteer work. I sit on many boards as a board of director for different organizations. Those are things I really do truly give. I love couponing, right? These are things I like to do. So pouring into myself is really doing hobbies and activities that I really enjoy by myself. I don't always, like I said, you carry all these titles, a wife, a mother, a daughter,
Yeah,
but I never forget who I was before all these titles. Who was
yeah,
Natasha before all this? Who was she? What did she enjoy doing? I love vacationing, right? I love traveling
mhm,
the world. I love trying different food. I love trying different restaurants. Self-care to me, it's simple. I am a simple girl, a nice comedy show for the night, or going out to dinner with my friends, having a nice dinner, trying a new restaurant, things like that. That is self-care to me, really pouring into myself and doing things that I truly do in love and enjoy to do.
mhm.
So self-care
Okay,
like that.
okay, okay. I ask it of every nurse,
Yeah.
because I know from my own experience that we tend to, first of all, nursing is still predominantly female. And then you add nursing on top of it. And somehow we always get pushed all the way back to the back of the line. And it's always, well, I will, I will, I will. And, we don't. Or
Yeah,
sometimes we even say we do, but we don't. Not
we
really.
really do. Yeah.
So I ask it of everyone because I think that we really need to articulate
Hmm.
and bring to the forefront this thing of taking care of ourselves, because I think that contributes to part of the burnout thing,
Yes. Yes.
a lot to the burnout thing. So
Absolutely. Because they go
giving,
home
giving,
and they just think about work and there's nothing else they're doing outside of that. Now, Dale, can I ask you, what do
giving.
you do for self-care? What does self-care mean to you?
Ah, what does self-care mean to me? Really, it has come to mean different things over the years, right?
Hmm.
And at this stage in my life, self-care really means recognizing myself when I look in the mirror, really. So, things I like to do. I love to garden. I cannot wait for, I live in the Northeast and I can't wait for spring and summer to garden. So I love to
Oh,
garden. I love to walk,
yeah.
and I love water. And by water, I mean I love moving water. So I need to be near close to rivers or lakes or whatever. Right now, I live very close enough to the Long Island Sound. I can't see it from where I live, but I'm within 10 minutes of it. So I get there all the time.
Yeah.
And those things, just being outside,
Hmm.
um, does awesome things for me. Other than that, I love to dance. Probably too
Oh,
much. I
it's never too much.
love to dance and I love music. So those
Yeah.
things keep me nurtured. But that's what I do. That's what I
Oh,
do.
and I love that for you. And that's once again going back and just pouring into yourself, really remembering what made you happy before all
Mhm.
these titles, right? And you're
Yeah.
such a giver, I can tell, Dale. You give back so much, giving, professionals like myself the platform to even be on
Hmm.
your platform and highlight some of the things that you're discussing is a lot of conversations people shy away from. So if I
Yes.
my mother was a big believer, God rest her soul, giving people their flowers before they're gone.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Dale, I give
I
you your
like to.
flowers. I am giving you
Ah,
your flowers. If people haven't told you enough to think what you're doing is amazing. It's phenomenal. It's connecting. It's community. Things that we need so desperately in nursing right now, in healthcare overall. And to be able to come on your platform and have these conversations and just really get to know you and just I love it. I'm still honored to even figure, how did you find me, right? So, LinkedIn is such a powerful
like
tool, and I
it
can't thank you
is.
enough to be able to have these conversations with me and just wanted to speak with me and get to know me as a person, right? You
Yeah.
are phenomenal, Dale. Please don't change who you are. Continue to be who you are. I always tell people you never know who's watching. You never know who you're
You never know.
inspiring. You're
Yeah.
inspiring, new nurses like myself. You're inspiring
Thank you.
veterans. You're nursing
Thank
all
you.
over the world to see what the opportunities are in nursing and under having courageous conversations like this about wellness and not being, shy away from it.
Yeah.
Um, we need
Exactly.
we need we need individuals like you. So continue to please do what you're doing. I am your number one fan.
Well, thank you, Natasha. Thank you so, so very much for that.
Oh,
Um, that's a little overwhelming, but thank you very, very much. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking to nurses. And so much to learn. My own nursing career has spanned 50 years. And still there's so much to learn. I like them, to tell me this is happening, this is happening, and I'm like, okay, all right, talk to me.
yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
oh, thank you, Dale. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
My pleasure.